I can say is that this is going to the streets at the ballot box. I've never campaigned against a colleague in my life. That's about to change.
Lindsey Graham pledging to hit the campaign trail ahead of the midterms with one goal: to oppose Democrats in states Trump won because of their resistance to confirming Judge Kavanaugh. Joining me now, Colin, the Senior Vice President of Definers Public Affairs. Also with me, Jean Zaino. She's a professor of political science at Iona College, and good to have you here. You heard Ted Cruz there say that Democrats had been extreme and crazy, but look at what Democrats are saying about themselves. Telling Politico today, whether Trump knew it or not, his remarks were perfectly pitched to stoke anxieties that have haunted many top Democratic operatives for a generation. The fear that their party loses big power struggles because Republicans are simply tougher, meaner, more cynical, and more ruthless than they are. Colin, let me get your take on that, because I don't think Republicans think that way about themselves, but they think that the Democrats are quite cynical and ruthless.
In many ways, as you look at the 2020 Democratic field, it mirrors the 2016 Republican field. A huge field of qualified candidates, many of whom are angry, and an electorate that's seeking change. And that's going to lead to a similar primary battle that the Republicans had in 2016 on the other side. And it's why you see folks like Michael Avenatti name get thrown in the presidential mix, because he is a Democrat's version of Trump, and he can fight, and he can channel a lot of that frustration.
Yeah, they seem to want to fight. Or, Jean, one of the things that I've noticed today, a lot of the liberal commentators, columnists, editorial boards saying to Democrats, look, if you're going to be mad, channel it into voting or into running. Don't look backwards, look forward. And Nancy Pelosi in particular telling people, we do not need to talk about impeaching Kavanaugh. She thinks that will hurt them.
And I absolutely agree with all of those points. I don't think Democrats should be talking about impeachment whatsoever. I think what Democrats have long needed to do is to offer the country a positive message going forward. Positive on the economy and what they're going to do.
But they're not doing that.
And I think they could do a much better job in doing that. And that has been a perennial problem of messaging for the Democrats. So they could do a much better job. There's a lot of areas in which you can make improvements, but they have to offer that up. And unfortunately for Democrats, they don't have a single head of the party. And this is what you were just talking about. Republicans own the Senate, the House, and the White House. There are heads of each of those branches. Democrats have a swarm of potential 2020 candidates, all vying to be the leader of the party. So you do hear some mixed messages, but there is a lot of energy out there. If it can be channeled properly, that's a big question.
Colin, talk to me about the Democratic top party leadership and how far away it may be from where the more progressive energy is in the base.
Well, I think that as far as you've got people like Congressman Nadler out there, who would be the chair of the Judiciary Committee, coming in and talking about impeaching Kavanaugh already. And that's a talking point that'll be good for Republicans on the campaign trail, because it will remind voters what's at stake. And what you've really seen is that the intensity level in the Democratic version, in the Democratic side, was already there. It's now being equaled off on the other side. And the question that no one knows the answer to is which side is going to be angrier when it comes in 20
Right,
days.
and how durable is the anger about Kavanaugh for Democrats? I mean, Colin pointed out to me earlier today when we were communicating, we're 29 days away. I mean, that is like a geological age from now until Election Day. Yeah,
it is a lifetime in politics, and I think that is such an important point. People are talking about, well, the polls today show this energy and enthusiasm about Kavanaugh. Number one, voters normally don't vote, particularly on the Democratic side, on the Supreme Court. That may change in 4 weeks.
I think that could
be 4 weeks is a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so we have to be very careful. When clients will ask me, well, what's going to happen? Nobody knows. We've never been in this position
Well, and actually,
before.
3 to 4 weeks, you saw that the generic ballot was plus 14 for Democrats, and now it's narrowed to about plus 5.
And the enthusiasm gap has narrowed as well to almost even, which is, a big change.
Well, it's a fascinating midterm election. Glad you were here to talk to me about it. Colin and Jean, thank you.